Esperanza, tell us about your experience of running 40 Days for Life as a first-time leader. What has that experience been like for you?
Yeah, the first day was difficult. It was difficult because it was the first time for me. I had never done this before, and it was difficult. But while I was there praying, I felt so good. I felt very relaxed, and I felt really good. So it's always difficult the first time you do it, but when you are there, you feel good about what you are doing, and God helps.
And what would you say to somebody who was afraid to come and pray at one of the vigils, 40 Days for Life vigils, who was going for the first time?
I always tell the volunteers that this is all about prayer because it's the way we're going to stop this evil. And I always say to them that when we are there praying in front of the center, just to focus and to pray and forget about what they have next to them or around them, just to pray, because prayer is what's going to, the grace of God through prayer is what is going to stop this. It's difficult when you think about it, but when you are there, is so good. It feels good because it's something you're praying for the people, which is very good. After 40 Days for Life, we want to continue and create a pro-life group in Preston and meet every 2 weeks, or keep praying because society needs a lot of prayers, and we need to stop the abortion.
Esperanza, you're doing a wonderful job here. This is one of the 5 new 40 Days for Life campaigns around the UK. There are a total of 136 registered abortion centres. That's hospitals, GP surgeries and abortion centres around the United Kingdom, mostly BPAS and Mary Stopes centres. But over the last 10 years, we've experienced over 1,000 women who've been scheduled for an abortion, who've chosen life as a result of 40 Days for Life volunteers. And our witness there is the last sign of hope, but the first sign of mercy for anybody who's had an abortion. And we are there to pray for an end to abortion and to allow God into this situation, to change hearts, to save lives, impact eternal souls. And by God's grace, this ministry is growing in the United Kingdom, in a secular country where the abortion providers have been attempting to bring in buffer zones for over 6 years now. Have achieved that in London in 2 different locations. They're trying to ban prayer vigils all across the United Kingdom. We feel it's going to be a moment of transformation, a moment of breakthrough. It might be that 2 years we could be outside 50 abortion centres, and we continue to see the many abortion centres close, like the 5 that have closed already: Belfast, London, Birmingham, Nottingham Hospital and Leamington Spa as well. By God's grace, that is something that you might witness in your community, seeing either an abortion centre close or a life saved from abortion as a result of your peaceful, prayerful witness. You might be the only one that you are able to reach that woman who's in a crisis pregnancy. She might be in your community, alone, afraid, in difficult moments, and you are the person who can be the hands and feet of Christ to reach out to that woman. Maybe God is calling you to lead a campaign where you live. York is a medieval walled city. If you've seen the film Braveheart, this is how far the Scots got down in England before they had to go back up following the invasion at that time. But there's a beautiful cathedral here. There's also a solid Viking centre, a very beautiful town. We're right down here by the river, and I'm here with the leader, Sebastian Sagnol, who is put his hand up to volunteer as a first-time leader outside a GP surgery where BPAS, British Pregnancy Advisory Service, have a office providing abortions at the moment with the virus, so they're not as busy as they normally are, but it's fantastic. We've got a new campaign here, and I'm excited to find out what's going on. So Sebastian, how are you today?
I'm very well.
Tell us about your experience running a first-time campaign here. What's happened here so far?
When I actually had made the decision to be a campaign leader, I didn't take a second thought really. But then when the responsibility started to dawn on me, then I realised actually, wait, there's a lot of things I have to do now, and it was quite difficult to reach out to everyone in York. I found some of it a bit difficult in terms of like will my friends think any less of me? But I just committed it to my prayer. It's actually been an important part of the last month or two.
And you've got some kickback as well from the public, from the press, and from the police as well. Tell us some of the response you've had so far.
Yeah, so we first started to get some complaints from local residents who approached us and said, why are you praying towards us, because we're facing their buildings. So we decided, okay, we better maybe turn around towards the clinic. So we responded to them doing that. But they were clearly quite uncomfortable that we were praying and doing this campaign. And they claimed that we're praying for misogyny, which is a load of rubbish, because over half of my participants are women, and we are praying, in love for women, so not and their unborn children, not in hate.
That's a new one. I've never heard praying for misogyny before, but there's always a new approach, and the fact that you're experiencing kickback already is a good sign. And how about your engagement with the media so far? What's that like as a first-time leader?
A couple of days ago, a journalist approached a few of my participants who were praying and wanted to ask some questions. They said, sorry, we're just here to pray. So they passed him my details, and he phoned me up asking for permission to take photographs, saying it's a public space, so he's allowed to do it. And then just this morning they released the article. He asked me a few questions about addressing the local residents and their complaints. And basically he's twisted it all by saying, our protests or our campaign has sparked outrage amongst local people. I don't think that's the case at all. It's just a minority of residents who've been a bit unhappy, and there's a long article now on the York Press website and quoting these local people, sort of putting a narrative that is middle-aged men who are doing all this campaigning and praying, which again isn't true. So
we've got campaigns all over the country for 10 years now. How do you see your vision for the campaign in the next few years here in York?
So ideally, my primary goal for the campaign here in York is to obviously make sure that this abortion clinic closes as soon as possible. Praise God, I hope that will happen. We'll keep on at it. Every time we have this 40 Days for Life campaign, we'll keep on fighting it. So.
Thank you, Sebastian. You're doing a really great job. So this is just one campaign of 13 that we have around the United Kingdom. I'm excited as I travel around meeting new leaders, hearing stories of lives saved, hearts and mind impacted. And God bless you, and thank you for watching today.